Wait a second. Was that a gnome? You know? Like a child of the forest. An old child, that is. Many years gone by. If so, who is he? How did he get there? Is he in need of some sustenance? I wish I had the answers. Anywho, back to Greg.
Hey folks, still working on my setup here. Very janky, shaky camera action. It's like I'm in a war movie. But I want to show you a few things in post processing to take these images to the next level. Take it away, Greg. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop. Very simple. First thing you're going to want to do, or what I like to do, is press Command J on a Mac. Duplicates the layer because, of course, Photoshop is different from Lightroom. Lightroom is non-destructive. Photoshop, there's no going back, especially if you do certain things. So we're going to just disappear the background. We're dealing with this layer, and we're going to go up to Filter, Blur Gallery, Tilt Shift. That easy. And already you can see many interesting things have occurred. I mean, not many, maybe one. You can see the gradient from top down, bottom up, creating this very, very cool tilt shift miniature effect, a blurry runoff. We can further manipulate and perfect our look. First off, I want to raise this to cover the town completely because, of course, the town is the focus, the rest not so much, quite literally. We're going to bring this down just a bit, as well as bringing this up just a bit. I want to kind of really compact the focus. Furthermore, if you go to the right here, so many different customizable opportunities here. We can increase the blur from the default, perhaps maybe a little more extreme. That I don't know. That looks a little nasty, frankly. Let's bring it back down maybe to a light 10. Or you know what? On second thought, bump it up to 20. Why not? Great number. That was Allen Houston's number, if you're scoring at home. Great sharpshooter. Anyway, distortion you can also mess around with. For this one, as you can see, perhaps we forego the distortion. But I encourage you at home, if you're dealing with these slider tools for the first time, mess around, explore, go up and down, familiarize yourself with what these sliders do. Furthermore, I mean, this Photoshop, it really gives you so many opportunities to do just about everything you want. Path blur we're not going to deal with. The tilt shift is all we need right now. You can get really wacky and combine some of these things, like spin, blur angle. I mean, the world is your oyster with this thing. What I would like to do, though, is improve upon the bokeh color within this tilt shift effect we've established. Since we're trying to trick the viewer into thinking these are all toys, you know, this is a diorama, a miniature of some sort, I want to really, really accentuate the saturation of the colors because, I mean, I don't know the last time you played with toys, but they're a bit oversaturated for the most part. So I want to kind of enhance that here. Motion effects we're not going to deal with, noise we're not going to deal with. We're going to click OK up top. And I want to show you what we've done already. So we have this right now versus the original, before, after, before, after. You see how much blur influences this composition, the specific super telephoto lensed composition from atop Mount Beacon Fire Tower, into tricking one into thinking it truly is a miniature image. What we're going to do now, if you're a fan of Lightroom, Photoshop has everything Lightroom does located in Camera Raw Filter. Little known fact that actually is not little known, but maybe you didn't know it. So I want to zoom out ever so slightly. Wrong way. Been doing this for so long. Oh, super wrong way. Doing this for so long, and yet I still don't know how numbers work. Anyway, don't want to bother you with that at this moment. Let's go up to here. Masking. We're going to try on my own. Why not? We're a little fearless today. So let's give it a twirl, as nobody ever said. Let's click on radial gradient. Here, I'm going to kind of try to bring this over our town. And I want to do a couple things here. I want to maybe up the exposure ever so slightly to make it stand out, as if we've established a vignette kind of in a reverse order by just brightening up the center of the frame. Another thing I want to do, add a little more texture, make it really stand out, just a little. Remember, the best and most, I think, pleasing image one can get from using these sliders to enhance the image is to use the sliders very minimally. As you can see, if we go higher, like really high up, it gets all grungy, and I don't know, it's not for me. Maybe for you, but this is how I do it. This is how we do it. I'm gonna dehaze it a tad, and what I'm gonna now do, as you can see here, clicking the eyeball, before, after, very minimal. I mean, you may not even be able to see how minimal it is on your screen, but it's truly an improvement, I say. We're gonna click off the mask, or I'm sorry, we're gonna go back up to here, and these are global adjustments, so this will affect everything. I want to bump up the vibrance of the image to make it look a little more toy-esque. We're going to focus on the colors. So what colors do we see? This was peak foliage. We got the greens. I'm gonna push that. We got the yellows, the oranges, the reds. Make it really toy-like. And we click this before, after, before, after. Minimal, but let me tell you something. It certainly transformed this a bit. I want to perhaps bring down the highlight ever so slightly to combat all this brightness we've added. As we can see, the histogram up here, very sort of dark heavy, and I kind of like that. Sometimes you don't want a super balanced histogram. It depends what the image entails. We have this darkness up here that I really like, this kind of blue tinted shadows, and a dark roll off here. So our focus is the middle of the image. And let's go back to here. So once again, before, after, before, after. I like it. I want to show you one more thing. Let's try it with that bridge photo. Here we are. As you can hear my computer fan going nuts. We're dealing with big time stuff here. That means you're doing great. When the computer fan starts sounding, we're going to do the same workflow up here. Blur gallery, tilt shift. But of course, the focus for this one, I want to put on the bridge and the boat. If you deal with this thing, I kind of ignored this the first time around. You click, this adds the blur amount. You can do it all here versus sliding up here. This is way too much, clearly. But we're getting somewhere. Maybe we keep this but expand the horizon line. I think this works really well. Look how toy-like this looks. Toy-like, that I guess that qualifies. It looks like a true diorama, like you're in some museum looking at the Hudson River. Why not? There's a Hudson River Museum. So anyway, I'm going to add a little more bokeh color. Bokeh is, of course, the blur. And then we're going to go back and kind of touch this up to make the colors really pop. So let's go again up to filter, camera raw filter. And let's do some global adjustments. First off, we're going to start with the color mixer, which is isolating each color specifically instead of globally. So for instance, we got the aqua and the blue. Alternatively, you can click on this, click whichever color you want to manipulate, and as you can see, we're just affecting the blues and the aquas. Very cool. I think that's kind of cool. Very artificial kind of color. Under the bridge, we have a little situation there. Let's up the oranges for this great foliage, the greens. Why not? Again, trying to make this look like a toy. That's our goal here. So, I'm just repeating myself. You know what toys are. I don't have to go that far, do I? So let's go back up to basic. Hit the entirety of the image, vibrance. I want to go back into color mixer. So I want the green is a little yellowy, right? Let's go to hue. Bring the yellows towards the plus side, and then the yellows turn green. Alternatively, bring the greens down and make the greens more yellow. Kind of trying to make it look kind of broccoli-esque. And the reds, as you can see in some of the foliage, that being affected. Anyway, you get it. I want to brighten up the entire image just by 0.25. Do a little contrast and This is looking mighty fine. I'm really liking this. Maybe bring up the haze, get rid of the haze just a tad. This would be minus haze plus. I kind of like that diorama exhibit in a museum type of look. And maybe we bring the texture, or no, we're going to not touch that. We're going to bring the clarity down, make this a little softer. And wow, wee wah. It's looking beautiful. So, before, after, before, after. Very cool stuff, I think. What say you? Please tell me in the comments. Would love to know what you think. And I really encourage you, take a hike. Encourage you to take a hike. Go, get real high. You know what I mean. Easy now. And upload your photos you take from that vantage and make some miniatures out of it. And why don't you just, when you do, just share it with old Greg here. I'd love to see. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Hey, see that link up there? Click it to see a micro short film Greg assembled from his trip up Fire Tower Way. He really hopes you enjoy it. Also, do you know about Greg's creative content community? It is a Discord group filled with artists and art enthusiasts sharing inspiration with one another every day. Its mission, to encourage one to simply make art. For if you are creating, you will surely be content. And lastly, be sure to follow Greg on Twitch, where he practices the art of photography within the photorealistic game titles of today. Catch him at twitch.tv/theGregSego. And, of course, do like, subscribe, and ring that cheeky bell.